Good day, yogis. My name is Brooke Blankenship, and welcome to Chair Yoga. Let's get started by taking a nice seat in our chairs, pressing our backs against the back of the chair. Feeling yourself completely supported by the chair and the earth beneath you. Allowing the feet to rest heavy on the floor, the ankles to fall naturally underneath the knees, the thighs to be heavy, the hips to feel supported, the back supported by the chair, the spine straight and elongated, nice long neck. Gently closing your eyes if that suits you. And from here, just taking some deep breaths in and out through our nose. First, just taking notice of our breath. And then maybe trying to deepen it just a little bit, lengthening our inhale and our exhale through the nose. Bringing those hands down by the sides now, gently opening up the eyes. Lifting those arms up, maybe even taking the gaze up towards the fingertips. Gently touching the fingertips together. Big breath in. Now turn the fingertips away from one another and let it out as you bring the arms back down. Again, big inhale, slow as we bring the arms up. Fingertips to touch, and then turn and come back down. A few more here, matching our movement with our breath. Inhaling on the way up, and then exhaling on the way down. All right, shaking it out. Excellent job bringing that breath back to normal. Excuse me. We're going to get into some neck stretching today, stretching through the back of our neck and shoulders. So I want you to take your hands, interlace them behind your head. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our elbows to the outsides of the room. Opening up through the armpits, maybe even leaning back a little bit in our chair. Opening up through the front body and the chest. Taking a few breaths here. Great job. Now coming back to neutral, and then we're going to come forward, bringing those elbows down towards your face. Breathing through the stretch happening in the back of the neck, the back and the shoulders. Being gentle with yourself, not pulling or tugging. Raising back up. Excellent job. Releasing the hands down. All right, so I want you to sit forward on your seat just a little bit so you're not leaning into the back of the chair. And you're going to bring your hand out to the side like it is sitting on top of a table or another chair next to you, okay? Like you've got your hand on an imaginary chair. And then we're going to allow our right ear to fall to our right shoulder. So automatically you should feel a stretch happening from the back of the ear all the way down the neck into the shoulder and the arm, okay? Sometimes even into the forearm if we angle our hand just so. So play with how that feels in your body. You can move the position of your chin back or forward, maybe down, and maybe you move it all around. Find what feels best and breathe into it. Remember, don't hold your breath. All right, to come out, we're going to bring our right hand up to the side of our face and cradle our head as we lift back up to neutral. Shake out that table resting arm or chair resting arm and coming to the other side. So again, we're going to hover that right hand above the table, taking your left shoulder towards the ear. So finding that stretch, finding where it feels best in your body and going there. Again, maybe it feels best to you to move around. Anything is okay here. This is your yoga practice. There is no right or wrong. Wherever you are, breathing into it. I found a pretty tight spot, so I'm just going to stay right here and take some nice deep breaths, healing breaths into that space. And imagine in my mind that that space is strengthening, getting more flexible, and overall improving as I breathe that nice healing deep breaths. Excellent job, yogis. Again, we're going to take our hand, cradle our head as we come back up through center, shaking it out. Great job. And we're just going to roll that neck a few times. Now that we've really stretched out on the sides, we're going to draw a circle with our chin all the way around and back up and down. All the way around, back up and down. You're also drawing this circle with your eyes, allowing your eyes to follow the movement of your head. All right, we're going to stop on our next trip around the bottom. Hold for a moment, take a big breath in through the nose, let it go, and then to the other side. So we're going to draw that circle to the right this time. Excellent job. Allowing your gaze to go around one more time before stopping in the middle. Excellent job. So I want you to bring yourself forward onto your seat a little bit more. We're going to start working through the spine now. We're going all the way down the body today from head to toe. So we've done head and neck, and now we are going to move into our spines. So I want you to sit up nice and tall, really nice straight spine, like someone has an invisible string on top of your head and they are pulling you up, elongating through the spine, okay? Bringing your hands to your calf. Now from this position, this neutral position, we are going to come forward, bringing that chest forward, maybe even drawing a line with the chin up towards the ceiling. Feeling that opening happening through the front of the body. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths here in this position. So make sure that you are finding a little bit of comfort in this position. So back off, don't go as far. Only go as far as it allows you to. Take some deep breaths. Excellent job. On your next exhale, you're going to round the back. Allow the shoulders to come forward. The belly button is going to round into the spine. So you're going to suck that belly button into the spine. Okay? You can grab hold of your knees and allow the upper body to kind of be heavy here. Allow the chin to come to the chest. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths here. Excellent job. On your next inhale, coming back up in to our cow. Big breath in, and now we're going to start moving with that breath. Big breath out as we come into our cat. In, moving to cow. Back, moving to cat. Nice deep breathing. In and out through the nose. Excellent job. Feeling free to find any movement here too into your cat and cow. Maybe moving to the sides, stretching through that side body, getting the hips involved. It's all good. Always remembering this is your practice. And finding what feels good in your body at any time is always okay. Even if that's just taking a seat back in our seats, just like we started class. All right. So we're going to move those feet just a little bit farther out and a little bit more together. Okay, so we're going to come into our salutations to the sun, starting to warm up the whole body here. So bringing the hands down by the sides into our mountain pose, lifting the arms up. Big breath in, touching those fingers together just like we did in the beginning of class. and then diving forward, allowing the chest to come before your hands, before your head, everything. And then falling forward, letting everything be heavy over the legs. Coming back up, using your knees, or hands on your knees if you need to, and then lowering back down. One more time, coming back up, all the way up this time. And then hands to the heart. Again, inhaling up. Exhaling, folding forward, allowing that chest to come first. Halfway lift, a lot or a little, just keeping a nice flat, straight spine, just like we did before, elongating through the head, finding that invisible line, and then folding back forward. Rising all the way up, and gathering the hands at heart center. Again, inhale up, fold, lift, fold, all the way up, hands to the heart. 2 more times, just like this. Inhale up, fold, lift, fold, all the way up, hands to the heart. Inhale up, fold, halfway lift, fold, all the way up, hands to the heart. Pressing those thumb knuckles into the heart center. Taking a moment to have gratitude to yourself for making this time on your mat for your body. He or she does really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to come to standing now behind our chairs. So coming to standing behind your chair, the very first stretch that we're going to do is a triangle stretch. So I want you to take that foot and heel toe it out. And we're going to want those toes facing the left wall, okay? So we're going to hold onto the chair for support, and we're going to reach out with our other hand over this leg, okay? We're going to reach out as far as we can. We can feel that hip turn on, okay? We're reaching, creating all this space in the side body, and then we're bringing that hand down to the upper thigh or the shin, okay? If you'd like a little bit more, you can heel toe that foot out. Finding a little bit of length through the side bodies, nice stretch through the legs, nice strong triangles. Excellent job, yogis. Coming back up, and we're gonna switch those feet. So you're gonna move those left toes in towards the front of the room. Right toes are gonna move out, okay? So adjust your feet however you need to. We're gonna grab hold of that chair. We're gonna reach out with our right hand. Reach, 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 reach. And then when you can't reach out any longer, we're gonna bring that hand down, either to the shin, the thigh. Just don't press on your knee. Nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Excellent job. Coming back up. Turning both feet in. And then we're going to give our feet a little bit of, add a little bit of an angle. We're going to do some yogi squats, malasana here, okay? So keeping a little bit of a bend in our knees, And then we're going to hold onto the chair as we bend down all the way, sinking the bottom towards the floor. Okay, so sinking the pelvis towards the floor and then coming back up, feeling that strength building in our legs, rising up through our bodies. All right, so here we go. Ready? Inhale as we come down into our yogi squat. We're going to hold it for a second. And then coming back up. Oh, so good. Excellent job, yogis. Again, coming down into our yogi squat. Rising back up. Last time, down into our yogi squat. Rising back up. Excellent job, yogis. All right, so heel toeing those feet back together. We're going to come back down to our seat to come into our Warrior 2 series. So you're going to set your bottom halfway on the seat, pressing your foot into the floor and turning on that left leg, okay? Right leg is going to come out in front of you and a little bit behind. You're trying to get this leg as straight as possible, but if it's bent, that's okay too. Okay, so we're trying to press the foot into the floor and then straighten the leg as much as we can. This leg is also hanging off of our chair. I'm going to grab hold of the back of the chair and then we're going to come up with our both arms now above our legs, stretching out from either side of our body in Warrior 2. Reverse your warrior, lifting that palm up and back. You can take your hand and rest it on the back of your leg. Feeling that opening happening through the left side of the body, front body, the rib cage, the chest, the underarm, the shoulders. Excellent job coming back into our Warrior 2, arms straight up. And then bring that elbow down to the ground, lifting the arm up to the sky. Take a big breath in for side angle. And then extend the arm to the elbow, finding that long line of energy that happens all the way through the right side of the body. And breathing some healing energy into that side body stretch. And then back up into our Warrior 2. Reaching the arms behind you now. We're going to interlace those hands behind the back. So keeping them with bent elbows and then just the hands resting on the small of the back. Or if you'd like to stretch a little bit more through the chest, and this is available to you in your practice, you can try to straighten out those arms and get that maximum stretch that's happening across the front body and the collarbones. Okay, so back off if that's too much for you. Okay, and then just leaning forward over your folded leg. Sometimes our bodies like to come down a little bit in between our legs. Both positions are okay. See what feels best in your body. Breathe into the stretching. Excellent job. Coming back up, releasing the hands, stretching back out one more time into our Warrior 2. And then releasing, we're going to bring both hands around to the back of the chair. I want you to take a big breath in, get really tall, long in the spine, as if somebody's got that invisible string pulling you up. And then turning and looking towards the back of the room, finding that very, very delicious stretch In the spine. Excellent job. Unwinding, shaking it out. We're going to come back through to center. This time I would like for you to reach to the side. So we're going to reach up, almost back behind you, opening up through the front body, the side body, the armpit, the shoulders. Excellent job. Coming back down, other way, reaching up, opening up. Excellent job. Reaching up. Once again, reaching up. Last time, both sides, reaching up. And last time. Excellent job. Moving over to the other side of our chair now. We're bringing that right foot down, pressing that foot into the ground so that we can feel that like fire up. We're going to bring that other foot behind us and a little bit in front. And then arms are going to come out over the sides of the legs. Excellent job. Let's reverse that warrior. Flip that front palm. Reaching up and back, opening up through that right side body. Excellent job. Bringing the elbow down, lifting the arm back up. And, oh, I forgot to bring our elbow to our ear. Finding that long, juicy stretch all the way through the left side of the body. Coming back up into our warrior two. And then we're going to come into that humble warrior, okay? So reaching behind you, either straightening out the arms and finding that intense opening through the front body, or finding your version of it, okay? Finding what feels best, and then once you're ready, leaning forward. Coming back up, arms out. And releasing the arms down to the legs. We're going to turn the hands all the way to the back of the chair, taking a big breath in, getting really tall and long in the spine. Invisible string pulling you up, and then turning and looking towards the back of the room. and turning back. Coming back through center now. Bringing those feet out nice and wide, angling the feet towards the edges of the room. And then we're going to drop those shoulders one at a time. So dropping, coming back up. Dropping, coming back up. Dropping, back up. Excellent job, yogis. All right, so I would like everybody to turn now to the left side of the chair. We're going to stretch through our quadricep, which is this big muscle in our legs in the front, okay? Make it really, really tight and sore, especially for those of you that are active, such as, walking and stairs and things like that. Aerobics, swimming, all of those things. So we're going to bend our knee and bring our foot behind us, okay? So bring your foot behind you, and you're going to press that foot down into the ground until you feel the stretch happening through the front of the thigh there, okay? So sitting up nice and tall, pressing that foot into the ground. Excellent. Releasing, shaking it out. Coming to the other side. So pressing the foot down into the floor, bringing that other foot underneath of you, pressing that foot down into the ground. Excellent job. Releasing, shaking it out, coming back forward for a moment. We're going to stretch those toes a little bit. Okay, so bringing your feet, let me move my book there, bringing your feet behind you. So you might want to, let's do this one at a time actually. It's really not good to do it two at a time. I want you to reach down and see if you can pull that pinky out. Really set it on the ground, okay? So we're getting as much bend as we can through those toes, flexing them back. So you're stretching through the bottom of the toes, the bottom of the foot. Wherever you are, breathing into it. Excellent job. Now we're just going to flip them over, okay? So now you're going to press the top of the toes into the mat, stretching through the top of the foot, the ankle, the shin. Excellent job. Shaking out that ankle. Other side, okay? So we're going to start by pressing those toes into the ground, stretching through the bottom of the foot. If you can, reach down and pull that pinky out. Make sure he's getting some action in there too, not just hanging out. Okay, so pressing those toes into the ground, breathing into the stretch through the bottom of the foot. releasing and switching, pressing the tops of the toes into the mat. Releasing, rolling out the ankle both ways. Ooh. Ankle say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So, and your toes say thank you. We are going to come into our balancing position before we come into the final few positions of our class today. So we are going to challenge ourselves with Warrior 3 pose today, which is one we've done before. But I want you to take one hand, you're going to come to the side of your chair, take one hand to the back of the chair, and then take the other hand and place it down on the chair in front of you, okay? So from here, we're going to put a little bit of a bend in both knees. And then we're going to work on lifting our left leg up behind us. Holding it there, we're using the chair for support. We're feeling that strengthening that's happening through the right standing leg here. Breathing into it. And lowering back down. Excellent job. Coming to the other side. Same thing, different side. So we're going to bring that hand flat down in front of us. We're going to hold onto the back of the chair for support, okay? Feet are directly, the ankles are directly underneath of your hips. And then we're going to lift up that other leg, okay? So, ooh. Don't hit anything behind you on your windowsill like I just did. So we're lifting up through that leg, keeping the hips. You don't need to open up the hips, okay? We want to keep the hips in line. So if that means you only lift your leg a little bit, then that is okay too, okay? So lifting the foot, lifting the leg, keeping the foot flexed as well towards, toes towards the ground. Breathing into the stretch. And then lowering back down. Excellent job. Coming back up. Coming back to seated in your chair. Staying with your bottom towards the edge of the seat. We're going to come into our seated pigeon pose. Okay, so bringing that left ankle over the right knee. Okay, so setting it up, come nice and comfortable. Taking a big breath in and straightening up through that spine, okay? So we already probably feel that burning sensation, that stretching in our hips. Start sending that healing, cleansing breath there. And then if you desire, leaning the chest forward over the folded leg. A lot or a little. It's all up to you and your practice. Coming back up, releasing that foot down, shaking it out, and then coming to the other side. We're going to lift that ankle up, cross it over the knee, sit up nice and tall, straight spine. And if you choose to, leaning forward over that folded leg. Wherever you are, taking nice deep cleansing breaths. Imagine each one of those breaths is circulating around in that hip, giving you more room to flex and strengthen and grow. Coming back up, releasing the foot back down to the earth, finding any last movements that you need to in your body before setting yourself up for your final resting pose. Allowing ourselves to come back into the same position that we started class in, with our backs supported, our hips and our thighs supported, our knees and ankles and feet supported. Gently closing the eyes if you choose to. And just taking a few moments to reflect on our practice today, reflect on how the body is feeling, how the mind is feeling, thanking both the body and the mind for his or her time and attention today. One step at a time. That's all you can take. That's all you have to take. Yes, you have visions you've created of where you want to go, but you don't get there in one leap. You get there one step at a time. That's how you receive your guidance. That's how you respond to the guidance you've received. Let your faith be strong. Your faith will keep you going through those moments in between steps. When your faith is strong, you don't look in fear at the journey ahead, wondering if you will get all the guidance you need or if you will get to where you're going. You know you will, so you take simple steps, one at a time, that lie ahead. You take them in joy because you know you're being guided. You have faith that the simple steps you are led to do will take you to your destination. One step at a time, that's how you will get where you are going. You are being led each step of the way. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes, slowly bringing movement back into the body. Reaching the arms back up overhead, maybe letting out a sigh or a yawn. Always want to pretend, and it just always happens for real, which is awesome, I guess. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. The light in me loves and honors the light in each and every one of you. Go forward with light and love in your hearts and throughout your day and week. Namaste.